Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to talk about self-reliance, self-awareness, and specifically the way we are placed here on this planet. We come through our mothers solo by ourselves, and we return to nothingness by ourselves, essentially subjectively experiencing the entering and the exiting by ourselves. And so with that being said, the Creator, whatever you choose to label it, him, she, placed you here specifically to find yourself and become self-aware of the fact that you need nothing external. The only thing you need is yourself. With that being said, I would like to offer my subjective experience and confirmation of specifically floor sleeping. If you need nothing external, if you are placed here fully functioning already, then it makes no sense to sleep on a bed. If we look at the West, we find that the average person has back issues, has hip issues, knee issues, neck issues, overall issues with their vessel. And so the question is, why is that not the case in the Eastern countries? Why is it that the average person does not suffer from such dysfunctions, diseases, problems with their vessels? And so if we compare the two, we find that in the East, persons tend to sleep closer to the floor, if not on the floor, thereby being self-reliant and not needing necessarily anything external. What I'm trying to say is that people in the East tend to be able to squat, have structural integrity and flexibility and fluidity of muscle tissue, as well as overall flexibility in their vessel, which allows them to squat and do, normal quote-unquote things in their 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, some of them. And so if we look at the Africas, if we look at the Asian countries, we find that in the Africas, most people tend to actually sleep on the floor, actually on clay, dirt, often only separated and segregated by a thin layer of perhaps straw, grass, something very, very thin. In the Asian countries, they tend to sleep on very thin mattresses, if not some type of bamboo concoction that is also very thin and hard. And so in the West, we find that the average person tends to sleep on a soft surface. Even the people that sleep on beds, on firm mattresses, are still sleeping on something soft, thereby creating the imbalances, because ultimately one muscle, if not multiple muscles, will always be active if you are resting on something soft, which also creates the following issue. If one muscle is always active, you're not fully resting, you're not fully resetting, you will never have full circulation of blood, of oxygen throughout your vessel. And so if that's the case, you will never be able to fully recover, recuperate, and attack the day anew. So my question to you is, if you're resting on a hard surface, thereby placing your entire weight on your skeletal system, and no muscle is active, are you then fully recovering, rejuvenated? And the answer is, of course, yes. From my subjective experience, I've been now floor sleeping for 5 years, going on 6 years. And I must say that I started the journey with rounded shoulders, with back issues, as I also played college football, and naturally lifting weights and such creates dysfunctions in the body. And so if the Creator placed you here already fully complete, whole, ideal, essentially divine perfection, then why do you think you need a soft surface, something external to sleep on? Why do you think you need to lift weights when in reality you only need your own body weight? Why do you think you need special type of waters, such as pH water, or even purified water, or spring water, whatever you're into? What makes you think that? What makes you think that He placed you here needing something? You were placed here complete and whole. And if that is the case, then it makes sense as to why in the Garden of Eden one would eat only fruit, if not fully live from and off the ether. Obviously that is the highest level of nutrition, quote unquote, living off the ether. But the next step under that, where one is consuming something, would be fruitarianism, would be the consumption of only fruits and vegetables, ideally just fruits. And so if that's the case, what is to be found in fruit is, of course, distilled water, 95%, and the rest is, mineral